good with the fish. Also, all that sediment, when it comes in, it starts to settle out, right? And when it settles out, it goes across that bottom. When you get all that material in the bottom, other things in the food chain don't actually like that as well, right? Especially the things called microinvertebrates. You guys know what microinvertebrates are, right? They're tiny little organisms, everything from larvae of certain insects to clams and mussels and all that crayfish. And when you have sediment building up on top of that material, it doesn't really do good for them to, they can't really nest in there, they can't really function in there, and what happens is they don't survive. Think about this, you got something really small, that's part of the food chain. What happens when you start moving those little tiny things? Well, you know what happens in the food chain, right? Things that eat those little things can't find the food that eats them, so they start to die off and it goes right up the line. So what we wind up having here is something we want to basically keep those soils from eroding out into the water. We want to create a bottom here eventually that's going to be more rocky based, so we have them help out those microinvertebrates, which those trout come in and eat those, and then it goes right up the line. We have all sorts of good species here. We were talking before, I've seen eagles on this property. We've had mergansers just flying by before, which eat those fish. There's wood turtles here. There's all sorts of good things, and they all rely on clean water, okay? So, what we're gonna do today, this is a pretty big project that's gonna happen over the next couple of years. This is not something you fix immediately. And one of the things that we were talking about with some of the engineers is this lack of vegetation on the sides, right? When you look at some of these areas over in here, I mean, you can see it. I mean, we shouldn't be seeing exposed roots and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna take this in sections. The section we're gonna focus on today is right in here, okay? Basically where that down log is over there, around this corner, up into where the root layer is, and what we have are willow stakes. Willow stakes, about, 3 feet. So, they're cut on an angle on one end. The angled end is the one that you're putting into the soil, okay? It's just like a spear, just jam it right in, okay? The idea though is to get it in as deep as you can. You don't want it just a little bit in, you want to really get it in there. 2 reasons. One, when you jam it in like that, the deeper it goes, it actually will start rooting more on the actual stakes. You get more of a root mass. And you get the root mass, that's what holds in the soils, okay? So the other thing is, you get a lot of rain and everything later on and the water comes up, you don't want all your work be washed downstream. So you want to make sure you really get it in there. I don't know, did you guys bring mallets or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you got a holder one, really whack it in there. They can take it, all right? Jam it in there.
Is it too far? Like this?
They say you should try to get it as anywhere from 6 to 8 inches deep into that thing. If you can't, and you hit a rock or whatever, just move it over and try it again. The good news is that we're in a floodplain, so we should have no problems getting these things in, because there should be a lot of silt and all that. So we shouldn't really be hitting a lot of rock.
Here we are along the banks of the Pohatcong Creek, Warren County, New Jersey. New Jersey Youth Corps performing a riparian buffer installation of fresh cuttings of willow. And we have Michael, Corey, and Mike And guys, now that you've gone through the waders in the water training and you have the hands-on application of what you're doing here, what do you feel about the work that you're doing? No, it's not hard?
No. We're shoving sticks in the ground,
I
in dirt and mud.
definitely can visualize it more better doing it hands-on than in class. Now I got a better understanding of what it's doing and help the river flow good and help the
But paying attention during the class did help me a lot before I came out here, so I know what's going on and what's actually happening in the water.
Good stuff. Would you recommend that other Youth Corps members participate in this type of training program and this type of service project?
I would. It's easy. It's self-satisfying.
and you're doing something for the environment.
Say again, Mike?
And plus you're doing something for the environment.
Makes you feel good about that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Mike, you have any feelings about the training whatsoever?
No, I can just dance. Dance us out. Come on. End the video.
Go ahead. Give us, bust a move, man. Go ahead.
Come on.
Good work. Thanks, guys. You can use a mallet, man.
This works just as well.
Okay, we're with Stacy Leishner from New Jersey Youth Corps of Phillipsburg, who's a little camera shy.
Hey.
Stacy, after going through the waders in the water training program and learning about ecological restoration, streamside, riparian restorations, how do you feel about the work that you did today?
I feel great. I feel like we made a habitat for the fish and stuff like that.
Well, the training that you went through with waders in the water, how relevant was it to the work that you did today? When you consider the applications of live stake plantings and working with the buddy system and work site safety, how important was the training to you to prepare for today?
It's very important because obviously you saw that Mike and Mike both fell in the water, so you definitely got to be careful with that. Like, imagine if somebody wasn't there to help you, could have been down the river. See you later.
Now, do you think this is the kind of work that you would like to do in the future?
Yeah,
You feel good about what you did today?
I did.
Good.
I'm glad I didn't miss it.
We're glad you didn't miss it too. Thank you for talking with us.
You're welcome.